Hi everyone, Pierrick from Picaut Design here. In this video we will finish our environment, we will add a bit of lighting and prepare ourselves for the final render. Let's get started. To create our happy clouds, I will simply add a UV sphere, then I will scale it down, I will shade it smooth by right clicking on it, I will add a subdivision modifier, and then in edit mode I will just duplicate this sphere, scale it and place it until I get a shape that I like. So you can create it whether in object mode, duplicating the different sphere and then joining them, or directly into edit mode, as you wish. Once I've joined all the sphere together, I will go into edit mode, select one of the sphere with L, and then duplicate it and scale it down. This is going to be one of the eyes of our cloud. So I need to create two materials. One will be the standard cloud surface. I will just keep the standard setup of the principal BSDF. Then I will create a second one that I will call black, and I will just color it into black. Then we need to select the eye of our cloud and assign the black material to it. With the eye selected, I will press Shift D to create another one, and then I will scale and place both as wanted onto our cloud face. I will then go back into object mode and add a Bezier curve. We will use it to create a mouth shape. So just place it near our cloud head, then in edit mode I will align the point by scaling them on the y-axis by 0, and I will try to draw some smiling shape. Once I'm happy with its shape, I will go back into object mode and I will place it properly onto my character. Then in the geometry option of the curve properties, I will increase the depth of the bevel. This will give thickness to our smiling shape. I will go back into edit mode and I will slightly curve it forward so that it matches the surface of the face. Then just feel free to shape it as you want. I've been looking for kawaii artwork on Google to get the right style of face I was looking for. Then to get a better preview, I've added the same material as for the eyes to our curve, and I will be scaling it, giving it more thickness, repositioning, etc. before I convert it to mesh. Converting the curve to a mesh object will allow us to merge it with the cloud shape. So I will go to Object, Convert to, Mesh from Curve. From there, we can go into edit mode, select the different cap, extrude and scale down, and then create a grid fill on each extremity. Then back in object mode, I will select the smile, then the cloud, and press Ctrl J to merge them into a single object. I will then properly place the cloud looking at my camera render, so it's just a matter of personal taste of compositing, just place it wherever you want, and then I will parent it to the sphere so that it will follow the sphere rotation as we did for the stones on the ground. Then to make sure it loops, I will use the same technique as we did before for the stone. I will go onto the very first frame, then I will duplicate the cloud, unparent it and keep transform from there, go to the very last frame and reparent it to the sphere. This way they will loop perfectly. From there I will repeat the process, duplicating the cloud, placing it elsewhere so that I get a better composition, a better randomness in the rotation, and I will apply the same technique to make sure it's looping. I will also place a cloud so that it's in the foreground at the beginning of the animation. I felt like it would be more interesting to do so, and then we will add depth of field to our camera so that it looks better and it increases the sensation of depth. To properly set up the depth of field, I will go into the camera option, and in the viewport display I will enable limits and sensor. This will display the depth range of the camera, so the distance it can see, and also its focal point. Because in computer graphics you can't allow a camera to see to an infinite distance. That will need the computer to calculate infinity, and it can't do this. That will be calculating forever. Knowing this, we can reduce the clip end of our camera. It's currently looking at 1 kilometer, while 10 meter will be way enough. This way, you kinda reduce the amount of depth the camera has to calculate or has to see and render. Now, still in the camera option, we can activate the depth of field. So by default, the f-stop value is set to 2.8, which is kind of a realistic value. The higher the value, the less blurry will be the picture. From there, we need to set our focal point to the right distance. So I will decrease the distance here until it's kind of in front of our character. If you watch the render view on the top right corner at the same time, you will see that our character is now less blurry because it's in focus. From there, I will start working a bit on the compositing of my scene. What I want to do is to create a plane in the background, and I will give it some nice color based on its position. The idea is to more or less match the colors of our HDRI image we are using to light the scene. This way our background will blend properly with our scene. So I will create a new plane, scale it and put it in the background so that it's perfectly framed into the picture. So I'm positioning it based on the camera position. As you may know, as soon as you add a simple plane into your scene, it will be automatically unwrapped. So I will add to it a new material, and the idea is to create a gradient using its UV coordinates. So I will select the principal BSDF, press Ctrl T to automatically generate UV coordinates, and I will replace the image texture with a gradient texture node. I will slightly offset the gradient on the y-axis negatively by -0.60 so that it's in the bottom left corner, and then I will add a color ramp and I will give it a base color with a light blue that will go into a light orangey color. Then I wish to give a little more depth to my picture, so I will kinda model simple mountains as if it was a little theater environment. I will simply duplicate this background plane, then I will go into edit mode and I will use the tool knife by pressing K. From there, you can draw cuts into this kind of cardboard plane that will allow us to shape nice and pointy mountains. Each time you click, Blender will add a red dot that will correspond to a new vertex and you will apply it. We don't care that our mountains are n-gone. It doesn't matter since we are not subdividing it, and this is a planar shape, so we won't have any shading issue. In object mode here, we just have to align it with the background and slightly offset it so that we will have some projected shadows onto our background, and this will look very nice. Then it's up to you. If you want to slightly modify its color, just go into render mode and play with the material. Don't forget to first duplicate it since it's sharing exactly the same material as the background plane. Scale your mountain as you want, modify the mesh if you want. One last thing I'd like to do before we launch the render is to slightly improve the lighting. So it will be very simple. I just want to add a slight rim light on the right side of our scene. This will help our character to pop out from the background. This is a very common technique. If you want to know more about it, you will easily find little tutorials about it looking for 3-point lighting. Instead of using a light, I prefer to use a simple plane, and I will add a new material to it and replace the principal BSDF shader with an emission shader. As soon as I will increase the strength, I will see the result on my character. Here the plane is way too big, so it's lighting a very large area of the character. I will make it smaller and place it on the back, so that now I have a nice and subtle rim light on the character and on the clouds. You can slightly change its color to a more bluish one. You can see on this before and after comparison that it's adding a few lighting details to our picture. Before we go to the next video, I will increase the sample to 256. This should make our render clean enough. This will be the end of this video. Please like to support and subscribe if you like my content. I see you in the next one.